the lone woodman.
Alright, this is a face-off between some moisture meters. We've got the Wagner MMC 205, the General Tools MMD 5NP, and the Doctor Meter MD 918, all pinless. And let me first start out by saying this is not a sponsored video. I purchased all these with my own money, so nobody's influencing me. I'm just here to give you the answers, because I hate when researching products I'm about to put some of my own money on. I'm researching the comments, reviews, and the reviews just say stuff like, does it work well? Yeah, it works well. How well does it work? Real good. Or, my husband says it works good. You know, that doesn't help you. That doesn't give you any, concrete evidence that it works good. You might still be wasting your money. Does it work on potatoes? Yeah, I use mine on potatoes all the time. Doesn't help you out. So we're going to actually do some tests, put them on a chart, and then do some calculations to see just how accurate they are. And another thing about accuracy, the websites will say on Amazon or wherever you buy it, it'll say it's got an accuracy of 0.5%, maybe 0.5%, or the General Tool says it's 0.1%. So they say it's very accurate, but that doesn't mean anything in reality. Like I call that resolution, because I can pick up this piece of wood, hold it in my hand, and say this weighs 3.441565 ounces. Now that is very precise, but it doesn't mean anything because it might not be accurate. Very precise, but not accurate. So when you look at comparing whether it's 0.5% accuracy or 0.1, you got to look past that. And really the only thing that matters is it repeatable? Can you get the same results over and over again on the same piece of board? Does the device really know? Does the device really think it's that percent? And we're going to try that out. I'm going to set up my table here in a second, but we're going to do 10 tests of each of the devices, and see what kind of variance we get, what kind of deviation. Because the last thing you need, if you're going to test a board somewhere out in your shop or in the barn or wherever, you don't need this thing swinging all over the place with its numbers. You want something that's going to give you accurate numbers every time. So let me set up my board, and then we'll get started. Okay, now I got the table set up. We got 10 tests we're going to do, and then the bottom is we're going to do some calculations and find out the deviation, or the spread of each of these devices. Now it's not important that this device matches this device, and that this device matches this device, or they don't need to match each other. They need to match themselves every time. That's the important part. And I've marked out a piece. This is an old piece of pine that's been sitting in my house for a while. So we're all going to test it on that block right there, so that we're all testing the same piece of wood every time. So these have been in this area. This has been in this area for quite some time. So it has just about reached equilibrium moisture content. So it should be. This is at the point where you can start using this wood. If you start working on wood or building a table or something before it's reached equilibrium, then once you cut all the pieces and glue it all together and build it, and then move it to a different spot, or it takes on more moisture or loses moisture, you're going to start seeing cracks or swells or cups or bows or twisting or anything like that, just because the wood is changing still. That's why it's important to measure moisture. Now, in this environment, it's going to be about between maybe 9 and 13 or so percent is what'll be normal for my basement right now anyway. So let's I guess let's just get started. Now I'm going to try and I'm going to try and dummy these up after every test. So I'm going to hold it to my hand, and that's going to measure a high moisture value, just so that, you know, it's going to different things. It's measuring different things in between the tests. That way it's not just stuck on that for some reason. That way we're going to make sure that it's really thinking about what answers it's giving us. So first test is the Wagner 205. Oh, and I've already got these all calibrated to the, oh here, let's pause this and I'll tell you about that. Now the Wagner there's different species of wood, obviously, and they have different densities, and you need to know the density in order to get an accurate moisture content, because if a piece of pine and a piece of oak, if they both have the same moisture content, they're not going to read. If they both reached equilibrium, they're not going to read the same number, just because one's more dense and that's throwing off the values. So the Wagner's got some settings you can set for the species, and the Doctometer does to an extent also, and I've got them all set up. The General Tools just has a setting for either wood or building materials like sheetrock or drywall or cement, that sort of thing. And you know, those are all different, so you really can't get an accurate answer. There's really no way to get an accurate answer of the moisture content. It's just, you just got to kind of use your best judgment, I guess, when you use the Doctometer, the General. All right, let's get started. The Wagner. We get a 10. And the General. .5, let's say. I'm going to turn off that beep. All right. Doctometer. 7.5. Here, I'm going to dummy it up with some oak. And my hand, how about? That way we make sure that it's thinking. Yep, there, maxed out, 20%. Because my hand is really wet. I'm full of water and cheeseburgers. All right, let me do some math here. And then we got another test right after that. It's really going to try and fool these things, see how smart they are. All right, I did all the math, and found the mean average deviation, or the mean deviation. And the lower the number, the better. So the Wagner had all the same numbers, so it had a deviation. It varied by 0%. The general had a deviation of 1.12%, and the doctor meter had a variance or a deviation of 0.34%. So looking between them, they're all pretty repeatable in this test. It's a little suspect though that the general thinks it's so soaking wet, but of course it doesn't have the wood species settings to kind of narrow in on the species of wood. It counts all wood the same, and that gives you inaccurate results, or not good representative results anyway. But overall, the Wagner is obviously the winner on that. It's quite a bit more expensive, but it's made in the USA. So there's the results. Now we got a test to see if it's tricked. Now these are designed to measure the moisture within the wood, not on the surface of the wood. They're all pinless. And what we're going to do is we're going to moisten the top surface as if you had your wood, you know, in the morning dew and you wanted to use it. That morning dew, the moisture on the surface is not really representative of what's inside the wood. If it's just dew, that can dry off in a matter of minutes or hours. No big deal. But the wood on the inside is still going to be fine. So we're going to see if these devices are fooled by surface moisture, giving us a different reading. So let me moisten up the wood. All right. Well, they're all pretty much fooled. Obviously, these are reading the surface moisture as what's inside the wood. The wood is not this wet. So obviously, even the Wagner is fooled by surface moisture. Because remember, it maxes out at 20. Hey, thanks for watching.